Alright, Pretender here, back with another Honkai Star Rail guide. Today I'm here with a full guide on the upcoming 2.3 second half 5-star character Jade. This video will be breaking down her kit, including traces, major trace priority, and her Eidolons. We'll also be going over her best Lightcone options with explanations, alongside best relics and ornaments with explanations, which includes main stat recommendations and substat priorities. So this video is going to be featuring a new editing style and layout of the entire video, so please let me know your thoughts on this upgraded editing for these kind of guides. I would love to hear your feedback on this kind of style. Before I get to the video, drop a like, drop a sub, turn on the bell icon for more videos like this. I have a build guide for all 2.3 5-star characters. Firefly and Run May are both out, you can check that out on the channel now. You're currently watching the Jade guide, and our Gen D will be out soon, and let's get straight into the video. So Jade is a quantum element character that follows the path of erudition. Her basic attack is the first blast basic attack we've ever had in Honkai Star Rail. It deals quantum damage equal to 45% to 90% of Jade's attack to a single enemy, and it also deals quantum damage equal to 15 to 30% of Jade's attack to adjacent enemies. Her skill grants an ally Debt Collector for 3 turns, which grants the ally a buff of 30 speed. Debt Collector additionally deals quantum damage equal to 15 to 25% of Jade's attack whenever an ally with Debt Collector launches an attack. Every attack the ally with Debt Collector launches will consume 2% of the ally's max HP, and the Debt Collector duration reduces by 1 on Jade's every turn. Her ultimate deals quantum damage equal to 120 to 140% of Jade's attack to all enemies. The ultimate does also enhance Jade's follow-up attack that comes from her talent, and increases the damage multiplier by 40 to 80%, and after the ultimate, Jade can use an enhanced follow-up attack 2 times. Jade's talent allows allies with Debt Collector and herself to accumulate charges for Jade herself, and once Jade does accumulate 8 charges, she consumes all 8 charges and launches a follow-up attack. Note, the follow-up attack does not give charges itself. The follow-up attack deals quantum damage equal to 60 to 120% of Jade's attack to all enemies. Jade also gains 5 pawned assets when launching her follow-up attack, and each stack of pawned asset increases her own crit damage by 1.2 to 2.4% and can stack up to a total of 50 times. Jade's technique inflicts enemies within a set area with blind fealty for 10 seconds. Any enemy with blind fealty will not be able to actively attack an ally, and once entering combat, anyone with blind fealty will enter combat simultaneously. Once in battle, deals quantum damage equal to 50% of Jade's attack to all enemies, and also immediately gains 15 stacks of pawned asset. As you can tell from her base kit, Jade is a character that grants an ally a speed buff along with additional quantum damage dealt, but at the cost of that ally's HP. The goal with Jade is to quickly accumulate charges in order to proc her own follow-up attack, and also to as quickly as possible to stack up her pawned assets in order to gain a big buff to her own crit damage, which will increase any form of damage output she has throughout the battle. As for Jade's ultimate, it does indeed deal damage, but the main purpose of the ultimate is to significantly buff her own follow-up damage, which again will be her main source of damage. For Jade's major traces, her A2 allows Jade to gain 1 stack of pawn asset when enemies enter combat, and anytime an ally with Debt Collector's turn begins, Jade will also additionally gain 3 stacks of pawn asset. For her A4 trace, when the battle starts, Jade's action is advanced forward by 50%. And for her A6, each stack of pawn asset additionally increases Jade's attack by 0.5%. For the major trace priority, you want to first get the A4. A4 allows you to set up right at the beginning of the battle without the need of a bunch of speed. So as the battle begins, you'll have a 50% action forward, which is really good in this game, and will allow you to set up an ally with Debt Collector right away. After that comes A2, because A2 allows you to quickly accumulate more pawn asset stacks faster. And as I mentioned previously, the goal is to accumulate as much as you can because you get a crit damage bonus, and now you also notice you get an attack percent bonus per pawn asset stack. And then after those two, the last priority goes to A6, because the other two have significant impact while this one just gives you more attack percent. A4 allows you to get a 50% action forward right as the battle begins, allowing Jade to set up Debt Collector right away, while A2 makes it even easier to accumulate pawn asset stacks. A6 just gives you a small attack percent bonus per pawn asset, and is definitely the least priority out of the 3. Now going over and explaining Jade's Eidolons. Her first Eidolon increases her talent's follow-up damage by 32%, and after an ally with Debt Collector uses an attack, hitting 2 enemies gives an additional stack of charge, and hitting 1 enemy gives an additional 2 stacks of charge. Her second Eidolon increases crit rate by 18% when there are 15 pawn asset stacks. Her fourth Eidolon, after using the ultimate, allows the damage from Jade to ignore 12% defense for 3 turns. And her 6th Eidolon, if there are any Debt Collector allies on the field, Jade gains Quantum Res Pen plus 20% and also gains a Debt Collector state. So in my opinion, the best Eidolon for her is actually going to be E1. Her E1 gives a nice increase to her follow-up attack damage, a whole 32%, but mainly for the fact it makes it even easier to gain charge stacks. Not only that, but it does enable a lot more synergy with using her with single target characters. Because I will say, Without E1, you mainly want to be using her with a AoE character rather than a single target character because she doesn't have that much synergy with single target characters. Using a single target character without the E1 makes it a lot harder to accumulate charge stacks. But now with the E1, you gain 2 additional stacks of charge, making it a lot easier and having a lot more synergy with someone like Topaz. And even if you still have the E1 running over someone with AoE, you get an additional 1 stack of charge, which is still really good. Her E2 is just a nice crit rate increase when there are 15 pawn asset stacks, which 15 pawn asset stacks is pretty easy to get pretty quickly. So that's just a nice little Eidolon. Her 4th Eidolon allows more defense ignoring, and then her 6th Eidolon increasing her quantum res pen, and also giving herself a deck collector state is also very, very nice. Now, moving on to the Lightcone portion of this video, Jade thankfully has a wide variety of options for her Lightcone, so you do have a lot to choose from. First and foremost, Jade's best Lightcone is going to be her own signature Lightcone, giving you a 16 to 28% crit rate increase. Any 20% crit damage that exceeds 120% will increase the follow-up damage by 12 to 20%, stacking up to 4 times. And after the battle starts or when the wearer uses a basic attack, both the ultimate and follow-up attack ignores 20 to 36% of the target's defense, lasting for 2 turns. So this Lightcone is very, very good due to the fact that it already gives you a pretty good amount of crit rate, and with the more crit damage you have that exceeds 120, you increase the follow-up damage, which will be Jade's main source of damage, by a certain amount, giving you up to 4 stacks at that. And since she does have pawn assets which do give you crit damage in its own, it is relatively easy to get the 4 stacks, needing up to 200% crit damage, which is very achievable on Jade. And the second part of the Lightcone, using a basic attack allowing the ultimate and follow-up attack to ignore a certain amount of defense, is also very good, because after you do have a deck collector selected from the skill, you can't actually use that skill again. So anytime it is Jade's turn, she has to use her basic attack, which will enable the ultimate and follow-up attack to ignore the defense. So this is her best Lightcone. Another Lightcone you can use is Jing1 signature Lightcone, providing you a 36 to 60% crit damage stat stick, along with a skill and ultimate damage increase from 18 to 30%. Sadly, the skill does not do damage from Jade, so that part is useless, but the ultimate does deal damage, so this is a nice increase. After skill or ultimate is used, gain Summonus Corpus. Triggering follow-up attack will consume Summonus Corpus, which will increase the follow-up damage by 48 to 80%. Timing this with her ultimate, which does already enhance her follow-up attack, is going to have very good synergy with this Lightcone, now not only enhancing the follow-up attack from her base kit, and now you have another Lightcone on her that's going to enhance it even further. So this Lightcone, if used properly, is also very powerful. Another great option is the upcoming Herda-free Lightcone Eternal Calculus. This Lightcone, as you are watching this video, is not available, but when it is available in the Herda shop, definitely make sure to get it if you have no other options. The Lightcone gives you an 8 to 12% attack stat stick, and after attacking, increases attack by 4 to 8% per enemy hit, and that stacks up to 5 times. And since Jade's basic attack is Blast, her ultimate's AoE, her follow-up is AoE, it is very easy to stack that up, and if hitting 3 or more enemies, boosts speed by 8 to 16% lasting for 1 turn, which Blast does attack 3 enemies, so you are set for the basic attack, the ultimate's AoE, so you're set for that, and the follow-up attack is AoE, so you're set for that. So it is very easy to get full use out of this Lightcone. Moving on to 4-star options, the Birth of the Self is another great Lightcone you can use, giving you a follow-up damage increase from 24 to 48%, and when enemies have HP that is 50% or lower, it further increases the follow-up attack damage dealt by an extra 24 to 48%. As I mentioned, Jade's main source of damage is going to be coming from her follow-up attack, so this will further increase her damage dealt by the follow-up attack. You are missing out on any crit bonuses and you are missing out on any attack bonuses and all that, but it does increase her main source of damage. Another option you can use is Genius's Repose, giving you a 16 to 32% increase in attack, and also giving you a crit damage bonus after you do defeat an enemy from 24 to 48% for 3 turns. The attack percent is very nice to have on Jade, but you do definitely want to make sure you do defeat an enemy in order to get the crit damage bonus part of this Lightcone. Otherwise, it will significantly lose value. Another great free-to-play alternative you can use is the Seriousness of Breakfast, giving you a damage increase from 12 to 24%, and increasing the attack for every enemy defeated by the wearer from 4 to 8%, stacking up to 3 times. So the damage increase there is already nice, but just like I mentioned for the Genius's Repose, you want to make sure you're defeating an enemy in order to gain the full value out of this Lightcone, otherwise it will fall short. And now the last Lightcone I have is actually a 3-star, and that is Sagacity. Sagacity, after using Ultimate, increases attack from 24 to 48% for 2 turns. This is a 3-star, so it's nothing special, but if you do not have any other options on this list, and you are not, for whatever reason, able to get the Seriousness of Breakfast, Sagacity is another last resort you can use, because after you do use your ultimate, it does enhance your follow-up attack, and again, that's going to be the main source, so getting more attack percent will obviously make your damage hit harder after the ultimate, which obviously translates to having your follow-up attack hit even harder. So Sagacity is another last option choice you can use. And now, moving on to the relic portion of this video. The first and main relic set I would recommend is doing the 4-piece of the follow-up set, the 2-piece giving you a 20% increase from the damage dealt by follow-up attacks, and the 4-piece giving you a 6% attack increase for every time the follow-up attack does hit an enemy, stacking up to 8 times, and lasts for 3 turns and resets upon the next follow-up attack. But this one is really easy to use with Jade because her follow-up attack does hit multiple times, especially if you do have it enhanced where it hits even more, and so it is very easy to actually have this up. But another great set that can be better in certain scenarios is actually the Quantum set. The 2-piece increasing quantum damage by 10%, and the 4-piece dealing damage ignores 10% of the target's defense, and if they have quantum weakness, ignoring an additional 10% defense. So this set does become the best in slot if an enemy is weak to quantum, giving you 10% quantum damage, and also giving you up to a 20% defense ignore, which if you didn't know, in Starro, defense ignore is extremely powerful. And if you don't have either of those available, you can do 4-piece of Musketeers, the 2-piece giving you a 12% attack increase, and the 4-piece giving you 6% speed and increasing basic attack damage by 10%. You are also free to run 2-piece of each ones, so combining 2-piece of the follow-up set with 2-piece of Quantum, 2-piece Quantum with 2-piece Musketeers, or 2-piece of the follow-up one with 2-piece Musketeers, that is also completely okay. For the planet ornaments on Jade, the first and most likely the best one for Jade is currently not farmable and will be a part of the 2.3 update, and that is the Duran Dynasty of the Running Wolves. Anytime an ally performs a follow-up attack, gives 1 stack of merit, and you can have up to 5 stacks of merit. Each merit stack increases follow-up damage by 5%, and when you do have 5 stacks, crit damage increases by 25%. So this is definitely the best set if you are running her alongside another follow-up attack character or on a follow-up attack team. It doesn't have to be just her using the follow-up attack in order to gain merit stacks. Since it is also allies, it can be pretty easy or it can be very challenging depending on what teammates and team you are running. So running her with someone like Clara or Aventurine, for example, will make it easy. But if you are running her with someone like Blade, who might not get follow-up attacks too often, or someone that doesn't have follow-up attacks at all, someone like Argenti, then it becomes very difficult or very slow. And so another great option is Inner Soul Soto. Inner Soul Soto providing a 8% increase to crit rate, and when you do reach 50% or higher crit rate, increases ultimate and fall-off damage by 15%. This one's also very good because her main damage again comes from follow-up attacks, and then the second one will be from her ultimate. It is also very easy to get 50% or higher crit rate, so you practically are getting a free increase to the ultimate damage she does, and mainly to the follow-up attack damage she does. Another set that can be really good is the Unclaimed Desolation. This set giving you a 4% increase to crit rate, and anytime someone defeats an enemy target, the wearer's crit damage increases by 4%, stacking up to 10 times. And when you do max it out, that gives you a 40% increase to crit damage. Reason I say this one is more situational is because for the most part, you'll never be able to actually get the full set unless you are running this set in Pure Fiction. Then it becomes very easy. So if you take Jade, who's going to be really good in Pure Fiction, with this, it's going to be one of, if not her best one. And the final ornament is Space Stealing Station, giving you a 12% increase to attack, and when you do have 120 speed or higher, gaining an additional 12% attack, giving you up to a 24% increase in attack. Nothing much to talk about the set, it's just a nice 24% attack increase that is very easy to get. But since, for the most part, you will not be building Jade with speed at all, the 120 speed may be a bit difficult to get. So if you really do just have filler pieces, I'd recommend getting the other ones because for the most part, you are not going to be giving speed to Jade, so definitely keep that in mind. And now, moving on to the main stat recommendations for Jade. For the body, you do want to have crit rate or crit damage corresponding to which one you would need more. For the feet, you do want to run attack percent, because for the most part, like I mentioned, Jade doesn't really want speed, since you are already setting up easily with the 50% action forward provided by one of her bonus traces, and most of the charges accumulated will be from the Deck Collector ally, so getting attack percent for a damage increase on Jade herself is going to be the most beneficial. For the orb, the best option is quantum damage bonus, and for the rope, this entirely depends on you. If you want more overall damage, attack percent will be the way to go, increasing your basic attack damage more, ultimate damage more, and follow-up attack damage more. But you also can do energy regeneration rate in order to get your ult easier and allowing you to get more enhanced follow-up attacks because you're able to use the ult more, which can add up to more output from the follow-up attack. That's sort of how you want to go about building her for her main stats on the relics. And now moving on to the substat priority, it is very generic. You want to mainly get crit rate and crit damage, and then past that, attack percent for just more damage overall. And then after that is anything else. You can get some speed rolls. Speed, I guess, could matter if you are running her with Space Stealing Station. Then you obviously want to get to the 120 speed, but anyone else who isn't running that, which for the most part won't be most people, you don't have to focus on speed at all. So just getting stuff like Break Effect, and again, as I mentioned, anything else will be after these 3 priorities. And now, for the final part of this video, I want to give some strengths and weaknesses about Jade. So starting it off with some strengths about Jade, Jade herself has very, very nice damage output. Thanks to her A4 and the 50% action forward, she's extremely easy to set up so you can get the deck collector right away. She works absolutely fantastic with any AoE unit, and she's going to absolutely dominate Pure Fiction with how she functions. And some weaknesses: without her E1, if you aren't actually using a character that is AoE, so if you are running her on a follow attack team, which for the most part has single target hitting characters, the charges for Jade is going to be extremely difficult to accumulate. The HP drain, despite it being pretty small with just being 2% of max HP, in harder content, it can become a big issue, especially if you've already taken a bunch of damage, so that might become a bit hard to manage in the future. And that is the full guide to Jade, breaking down her kit, trace priorities, talking about her traces itself, going over the Eidolons, going over her Lightcones and the best Lightcone options, same with going over Relics, Ornaments, and also talking about the main stat and substat recommendations, and also some strengths and weaknesses about Jade. That's what this video has covered, so I do really hope you guys found this video helpful. And again, let me know if you guys prefer the new editing style, because it takes a lot of work to do, so I'm really hoping you guys actually do enjoy it. Let me know if you guys would be summoning for Jade, what kind of teams you're going to be running. That's all I gotta say. Again, hope you found the guide helpful. Peace out.